The silence in the Missouri woods at night isn't just quiet. It's a living, breathing absence. It swallows sound, leaving you with only the frantic thumping of your own heart. Most people think of Missouri as rolling hills, cornfields, and sleepy towns. They don't think of what lurks in the deep, forgotten corners, the places where the trees grow too thick and the shadows stretch too long. But I do. I know what's out there, and it took them. My name is Arthur Finch, and for 5 years, I was a park ranger in the Mark Twain National Forest, specifically assigned to the isolated northern sector. It's a vast, sprawling wilderness, beautiful by day, but utterly unforgiving once the sun dips below the horizon. My job was straightforward: maintain trails, assist lost hikers, enforce regulations, and occasionally recover the unfortunate souls who ventured too far off the beaten path. Standard stuff, right? Except, in my sector, the lost were rarely just lost. They vanished, without a trace. It started subtly, as these things always do. A hiker, a young woman named Clara Jensen, disappeared while on a solo overnight trip. Her car was found at the trailhead, perfectly parked. Her tent, still neatly packed in her backpack, was discovered by another ranger near a small stream. But Clara? Gone. Search teams scoured the area for weeks. Nothing. No footprints, no discarded gear, no sign of struggle. It was as if she'd simply ceased to exist mid-stride. The official report cited presumed accidental death and animal scavenging, a boilerplate explanation that satisfied no one, especially not me. I was new then, fresh out of the academy, full of idealism and a belief in logic. I dismissed it as a tragic anomaly. The woods are dangerous, I told myself. People get lost, predators exist. But then, a few months later, it happened again. This time, it was a pair of experienced campers, a married couple, the Millers. They were seasoned outdoorsmen, familiar with the territory. Their campsite was found intact, a half-eaten meal on the portable table, sleeping bags neatly rolled inside their tent. Their car again at the trailhead. And again, nothing. No signs of a struggle, no tracks leading away, just an eerie, inexplicable emptiness where two people had been moments before. My superiors, particularly Ranger Chief Thompson, a man whose weary eyes held secrets I couldn't yet comprehend, chalked it up to unforeseen circumstances and the unpredictable nature of the wilderness. But the whispers started. Among the other rangers, in hushed tones around campfires, theories emerged. A rogue cult, a serial killer with a supernatural knack for vanishing acts. Even outlandish talk of cryptids, creatures from old folk tales. I scoffed. I was a man of science, of evidence. But the lack of evidence, the sheer, utter absence of it, began to gnaw at me. My sector was known for its dense canopy, ancient oaks and maples that formed a cathedral of leaves, blocking out the sun even at midday. The ground was a thick carpet of moss and fallen leaves, damp and silent. It was beautiful, yes, but also oppressive. The air always felt heavy, pregnant with unspoken things. I started noticing things, small deviations from the norm that individually meant little, but collectively painted a disturbing picture. The animal sounds, for instance, or rather, the lack thereof. In a healthy forest, there's a constant hum of life, birdsong, the rustle of squirrels, the distant howl of coyotes. But in certain parts of my patrol route, particularly near where Clara and the Millers had disappeared, there was an unnatural quiet, a profound hush that made the hairs on my arms stand up. It wasn't just the absence of noise, it was the feeling of being listened to. Then there were the tracks, or more accurately, the lack of tracks. I'd spend hours tracking deer, wild boars, even the occasional black bear. I could read the forest floor like a book, but around the disappearance sites, the ground was pristine. No animal tracks leading in or out, not even the small scurry of a mouse. It was as if the area had been swept clean, a perfect, undisturbed tableau that defied all natural explanation. My shifts began to feel different. The simple act of patrolling became an exercise in hyper-awareness. Every snapped twig, every rustle in the undergrowth made my heart leap. I started carrying my service pistol with a round chambered, a practice discouraged by the department, but one that brought me a sliver of comfort. I'd find myself pausing, listening intently, convinced I could hear something just beyond the range of my perception. A faint, almost imperceptible hum in the air, like a distant, vibrating string. One evening, while performing a routine perimeter check near the old, abandoned logging trail, a path rarely used, but one that cut directly through the area of the disappearances, I saw it. or rather, I felt it. The sun was setting, casting long, distorted shadows through the trees. The air was still, heavy with the scent of damp earth and pine. I was walking slowly, my senses on high alert, when a sudden, inexplicable dread washed over me. It wasn't fear of an animal or even a person. It was a primordial terror, the kind that freezes you to your core. I stopped, straining my ears. The silence was absolute. No crickets, no rustling leaves, not even the distant drone of a cicada. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath. And then I saw it, or the absence of it. In a small clearing ahead, where the ancient logging trail widened slightly, the air shimmered. Not like heat haze, but like water. A distortion, a ripple in the very fabric of reality. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but once I focused, I couldn't unsee it. It was roughly oval-shaped, about 8 feet tall and 4 feet wide, hovering a few inches off the ground. My first thought was some kind of optical illusion, a trick of the light. But as I watched, transfixed, a single leaf caught in a gentle breeze drifted towards the shimmering void. As it touched the edge, it didn't fall through. It simply vanished. One moment, a vibrant green leaf. The next, nothing. No sound, no trace, just gone. My blood ran cold. This was it. This was the explanation. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, my breath caught in my throat, my hand instinctively on my pistol. The shimmering portal pulsed faintly, almost imperceptibly, with that same low hum I'd been hearing. It wasn't a malicious hum, not overtly threatening, but rather a sound of immense, indifferent power. It was a gateway, a tear in the world, and something was using it. I backed away slowly, carefully, not wanting to draw attention to myself, though I had no idea if whatever was on the other side could even perceive me. I didn't run. Running felt like an invitation, a challenge. I just retreated, one careful step at a time, until the shimmering distortion was out of sight and the normal sounds of the forest slowly returned. The cicadas began their evening chorus, a bird chirped hesitantly, and the world felt a little more solid. But it wasn't. It never would be again. I returned to my cabin, shaken to my core. I didn't tell anyone what I'd seen. Who would believe me? A shimmering portal in the woods? They'd send me for a psychological evaluation. But I knew. I knew why Clara and the Millers were gone. They hadn't gotten lost. They hadn't been attacked by animals or cultists. They had walked into that shimmering distortion. Or perhaps it had simply opened around them. The next few weeks were a blur of restless nights and hyper-vigilant patrols. I avoided the old logging trail like the plague, but the knowledge of what lay hidden there haunted my every waking moment. I started researching, not into local folklore, but into physics, into theories of alternate dimensions, wormholes, anything that might even remotely explain what I had witnessed. I found nothing concrete, only speculative theories that sounded like science fiction. Then, about 2 months after I saw the portal, another person vanished. A young photographer, Lucas Thorne, known for his landscape work. His car was found at a different trailhead, further north, but still within my sector. This time, I didn't wait for the search parties. I knew where to look. I raced to the old logging trail, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. I found it. The shimmering oval. It was still there, pulsing faintly. And this time, something was different. There were faint, almost ethereal footprints leading directly towards it, and then, abruptly, stopping at the edge. Lucas's prints. My stomach churned. He had seen it. He had approached it, and he had walked through, or been pulled. As I stood there, staring at the unsettling phenomenon, a sound emerged from within the distortion. It wasn't a human sound, not a voice or a scream. It was a low, resonant thrum, like a colossal instrument being played deep underground. And then, a silhouette. It was vague, indistinct, like looking through frosted glass, but it was undeniably there, tall, slender, with an unnatural grace. It moved slowly, deliberately, within the shimmering field, its form shifting, almost liquid. It wasn't walking, it was gliding, and it was moving towards the edge of the portal. I froze. Every instinct screamed at me to run, to flee, to put as much distance as possible between myself and whatever was on the other side. But I couldn't move. My feet were rooted to the spot. The silhouette paused at the very edge, its form momentarily clearer, though still indistinct, like a phantom limb. It seemed to be observing the forest, observing me. I felt an intense, burning pressure behind my eyes, as if an invisible force was trying to pry open my mind. And then, a whisper. It wasn't with my ears that I heard it, but in the deepest parts of my consciousness. A thought, not spoken, but implanted directly into my mind. You see us. The words were not in English, or any language I recognized, yet their meaning was terrifyingly clear. It wasn't a question. It was a statement of fact. The silhouette receded, pulling back into the shimmering distortion. The thrum intensified for a moment, then slowly faded. The shimmering oval began to shrink, contracting in on itself, like a ripple in a pond reversing its course. In a matter of seconds, it was gone. The air was still. The forest was silent once more. But this time it was a different kind of silence. A knowing silence. I stumbled back, my legs weak, my mind reeling. It wasn't just a portal. There was something on the other side. Something intelligent. Something that knew I was there. And it had taken Lucas. Just like Clara, just like the Millers. I returned to Chief Thompson's office the next day, a shell of my former self. I told him I was resigning. He looked at me with those weary eyes, a flicker of understanding in their depths. He didn't ask why. He just nodded slowly, a profound sadness etched on his face. Some things, he said, his voice low and gravelly, are best left undisturbed, Arthur. You saw it, didn't you? I didn't answer. I just stared at him, my silence confirming everything. He sighed, a heavy, world-weary sound. This forest, it has its own ways, old ways, things that were here long before us and will be here long after. They don't mean us harm, not in the way we understand it. They just are. And sometimes people get caught in the currents. He never explicitly said what they were or what it was. He didn't have to. We both knew. I packed my meager belongings and left the Mark Twain National Forest, never looking back. But the forest and what it holds never truly left me. I moved to a small town far from Missouri, started a new life. But every rustle of leaves, every deep silence takes me back. I see the shimmering distortion in my dreams, feel the pressure behind my eyes, hear that impossible silent whisper. You see us. They're still out there, in the forgotten corners of Missouri, in the deep woods where the shadows grow too long. The disappearances haven't stopped. I still follow the news, the local reports. Another hiker, another camper, another family dog gone without a trace. The official explanations are always the same: accidental death, animal attack, getting lost. But I know the truth. I saw it. And sometimes late at night, when the world is quiet and the moon hangs heavy in the sky, I wonder if it's still watching me. If that silent entity on the other side of the shimmering veil remembers the park ranger who dared to look. The one who saw too much. The one who knows Missouri's dark secret. If you've ever felt that unnatural silence in the woods, that feeling of being watched, that sense of something just beyond your perception, maybe you've been closer to it than you think. There are places in this world that aren't meant for us, doors that should remain closed. And sometimes, those doors open. If you've made it this far, if you're still listening, then perhaps you understand the chilling nature of what I've described. This isn't just a story, it's a warning. There are forces at play, ancient and indifferent, that operate beyond our comprehension. And sometimes, they reach out. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, if the shadows and whispers have piqued your curiosity, please consider subscribing to Nightfall Tales. Your support helps us continue to uncover the unsettling truths hidden beneath the surface of our world. I don't know what they are, or what they do with the people they take. I only know that they exist. And they are still taking people, in Missouri, in the vast, silent, ancient woods. And I saw it. And now so have you. Sweet dreams.